In this video, we will see how to find inverse z transform of the function z over say z plus 3 and z minus 1. So as I explained in my previous video, when we are taking the inverse z transform, first of all it's clear that it has to be answered by using the method of partial fraction. So when we are considering the partial fraction for such cases, instead of taking the entire term, say if I denote this term by the term z minus 1 as say y of z, then we do the partial fraction of the term yz over z, or in other words we can say that we just divide the numerator by z. Okay, so we'll do the partial fraction for 1 over z plus 3 z minus 3, sorry, z minus 1. Okay, so by using the rule of partial fraction as we have used for the inverse Laplace transform, so a over z plus 3 plus b over z minus 1. Now we take the LCM. So here the procedure is actually same as we have done for the inverse Laplace transform, a and b. So now when we are looking for the terms to be multiplied with a and b, now for that we multiply both a term and b term with z plus 3 and z minus 1. So with a, this z plus 3 get cancelled, so we have z minus 1, and with b we will get z plus 3. This process is explained in detail in my previous video of inverse Laplace transform. Okay, so this is equal to 1 equal a times z minus 1 b times z plus 3. Now again here we have two constants a and b. So we know that to find the values of a and b we need to substitute two different values of z. So those values of z we will get from the denominators. So let's put first z plus 3 equal to 0. This gives z is equal to minus 3. So when we substitute it here, we replace z at these two places. Left side remains same. This will give us 1 equal a times minus 3 minus 1 plus b times minus 3 plus 3. Minus 3 plus 3 becomes 0. So cancelling out the b term, this gives you 1 equal to minus 4 times a, which gives the value of a as minus 1 over 4. Okay, now the second value of z we will get from the second term. So putting z minus 1 equal to 0 gives us z is equal to 1. Now substitute this value again in this equation. This will give us 1 equal a times 1 minus 1 b times 1 plus 3. So you can see that here the left side is not changing, it's constant, because in the question here it remains constant. So 1 minus 1 0, cancelling out the a term, gives you a equal to b times 4, which gives you the value of b as 1 over 4. Now we substitute these values of a and b at the very first place where we introduced a and b. So what we get? We get, let me write it over here, 1 over z plus 3 z minus 1, as a is minus 1 over 4 z plus 3 plus b is 1 over 4 z minus 1. Now this is not the actual question. In the question we were having z. So now multiply both sides by z. So when we multiply both sides by z, we will get z here. So now finding the inverse z transform of this term. So inverse z transform of z multiply 1 becomes z over z plus 3, z minus 1. It is same as finding inverse z transform of these two terms. So we can write it as minus 1 by 4 inverse z transform of z over z plus 3, and then plus 1 by 4 inverse z transform of z over z minus 1. Now we use the rule of z transform, inverse z transform for this. So what it will give you? Minus 4. This gives you minus 3 to the power k plus 1 over 4. This is inverse z transform of 1. And hence we got the inverse z transform.